I've always wanted to instill fearlessness into my child. I always felt like fear is the only thing that ever held anyone back. It's the only thing, if I ever got held back in my life, when I reflect and I look back, it was a sense of fear, a sense of it, you know. Not a lot of people can admit to it, you know, but really that's what makes you hesitate. Fear, you know. And it's not like you're just scared in general. Sometimes it's just the fear of losing someone, you know, the fear of making a mistake, the fear of letting someone down. That's what it, and I felt like if you could overcome that fear, in your mind at least, you can accomplish anything. Ooh. I could probably dig deep. And it'll probably take me a while to actually come to a thought in mind. Something recent within the past, I don't know, decade, I guess. When I first started riding young horses, I remember the way I was taught, which is really the only way to cowboy a horse, to get on a horse, is you got to just get on. And I remember the uncle that was teaching me at the time, he looked at me and he just was like, he had a horse that had one ride on him. If that, I didn't even know if it was a ride, maybe had someone in the saddle. Young horse, you know. And he said, okay, warmed him up. He said, okay, get on. And I was like, what? Get on? And he was like, yep, get on. But I never said it out of my mouth, you know. I was like, get on. I was like, in my head, I told him, I was like, okay. But in my head, I was like, sheesh, we'll see what's gonna happen. And I remember it's a moment, it's a choice, you know. And I guess I had a moment to where I could actually think about it and choose not to be afraid. Got on.
And how was that ride?
Oh, he bucked. And I just held on, he bucked. And I just rode him out. But while I was riding him out, running him in a circle, you know, I had him pushing the horse from behind with the flag. And I remember it, while you're riding, you're riding it and you kind of just gotta like, the fear makes you tense up, which ultimately makes your horse tense up. You know, makes the animal can feel you. And not until you release that fear and you choose that you got it in your hands, you're in control, is when you actually feel the ride. You can actually feel, then you're riding. And every ride after that is a constant choice. You just gotta get on and go. You gotta kind of trust yourself. What kills fear is knowledge. I always believe. You educate yourself enough, you're gonna kill the fear, you know. I go back to experiences. I put myself in the moment. Because a lot of my songs that I'm writing is personal experience. But some of the songs that I'm writing, it's from a conversation, it's someone else's experience. Sometimes it's both, it's my own and someone else's, and I kind of had a conversation with someone and they're explaining, you know, this trauma or this happiness that they had, and it sat with me. It sat with me so much that I kept replaying it in my mind. I kept replaying it in my mind so much that I started to believe like I was sitting there watching it happen. And even if it was my own experiences, like I went back in time and I was sitting there watching it happen. Like, you know, like you're dreaming and sometimes you're actually physically in the dream and other times you're just watching. I put myself there and I replay it over and over again until I can find a hook or find a lyric that brings out that space or emotion in that moment. And I just replay it over and over in my head. And I think that replay in your head is how you come up with, you know, a great lyric or a great hook or a great chorus. With this song, Scars on Your Mama, it was a combination of everything. It was a combination of fear. It was a combination of putting myself back in that space. you know, and losing Kamakua, it was what I always remember is the two things that stand out to me the most when I think about that moment of her passing. And one is holding her in, is when the doctor first gave her to me. The doctor sat me down and explained to me what happened. She explained to me what happened, and then immediately she grabbed her and she put her in my hands. And then as soon as she put her in my hands, she told me sorry, and she walked out the door, and everyone left me, and I just sat in the room by myself. And that moment is what I think about every single time when I think about this song. Because it's a lonely moment. It's also a moment of, it's a fearful moment, because it's the next moment that comes to mind, that talk about being scared shitless, or like, I don't want to say scared shitless, but being scared out of your mind. You know, like I was like literally scared and constantly trying to tell myself not to panic. Was the next moment after holding her was waiting to, you know, find out if, you know, her mom was even still alive, and, you know, if I was gonna talk to her again. And then immediately finding out she's alive and she's okay, then having to explain to her was probably one of the scariest moments of my life. All that in one moment, trying to explain that whole thing. If someone was to say they wouldn't be scared, they're lying. Because you're scared when you gotta when you gotta tell them what happened. And immediately after that, I couldn't even say the words. It was like, it was just too hard. I couldn't. To this day, I don't think I did say the words. It never came out of my mouth. You know, you could just see it all over me. You know? So when this song comes to mind, I think about the moment. I think when I was writing it, I was thinking about that moment and trying to put myself there, be in a space. That's the space I think about. I think about that moment. It's that combination of fear, combination of, you know, confusion, and all in one. Yeah. Scars in Your Mama, actually, the line, I wouldn't say like the hook and the melody. I came up with the hook and the melody while I was waiting for Kamakoa's mom, you know, my wife, to come out of the hospital. That's when I came up with the melody. I came up with the line when she was still hapai, she was still pregnant. And it was when she was on Oahu and I was on Hawaii Island, and she sent me a picture of her belly. And because she started showing it. At this month, we're how many months in, you know, we're 5 months in. She showed me her belly, and she told me, she was like, I can see my battle scars. I can see it changing. And I remember when she was telling me, I could see the happiness all over. I could hear and see the happiness all over her. And I remember how much that made me happy, you know. And that was, you know, battle scars. That was the scars on her mama, you know. But you go deeper into Scars on Your Mama. The reason why I kind of kept with it when I was writing this song is because the scars are physical. They're physical, but more than that, they're actually, you know, they're the scars you can't see. It's that forever scar. That's what losing your child is. It's a forever scar. It's always there. You never get over it. It's with you forever, you know. But it's also the physical scars that women go through, that a mama will go through, you know, that us men don't have to worry about, you know. altogether. And then even more so, you actually see the beauty in childbirth, where the mother goes through so much to bring this life into the world. And then at the same time, because of what I personally went through, you understand how fragile and delicate it is, because anything can happen at any time, and for me, my daughter passed away, 18 minutes of life, and she passed away, and her mother almost passed away at the same time. So I was sitting in that room thinking I could lose both of them at the same time. And that thought, the sense of gratitude you have after that, it's bittersweet, because it's sour in a sense where you lost one, but at the same time it's sweet because I was still able to keep one. I could have lost two. And all you can do is be grateful for it. You got to find the silver lining in it somehow, or else you just go nuts. There's a lot of things. I think if I was to relate it to this song, what got me through the year was, good people around me, gratitude of still having my wife here with me. But it was writing this song. This song was my healing process. Making music was my healing process. That was everything. I kept forcing myself into the studio, even if I didn't feel like going in the studio to record. I forced myself in the studio because I knew if I was creating, and I knew if I was making music that could potentially help others, uplift them in some way, it was gonna uplift me. And I like to think I was successful, because there's a bunch of music, especially this song, where I feel like it can reach lives and touch people. I wrote down lines and lines, lyrics, paragraphs. If I open my phone, you'll see paragraphs of lyrics and thoughts. And whenever I was like going through the process, I'd write it down. When I heard a line in my head, a lyric, I'd write it down. I exaggerate, but the song could possibly be like 30 minutes long if I wrote every verse into this song. And then I just structured it to make sense, to where it could be a song. I structured it that way, but writing it down, that was my way of filtering. Music was the way of filtering how I was feeling. And I don't think everybody has that gift or that filter, for themselves. Not everyone can write the song that they wish they had, and that's why I wanted to share it, because this is the song I can give to people that I wish I had. It took me an entire year to finally finish it. I couldn't even sing the song in my head. I knew how it went in my head. I couldn't play it. Every time I picked up my guitar to even find the chords and play it, I'd lose it. I couldn't sing it all the way through, And then the day before her birthday, I forced myself. I sat myself down in a corner of our home, and I picked up my guitar, and then I structured the whole thing. Whatever I had in my head, I pieced it together. I wrote it down. I recorded it on my phone, and I was like, I'm finishing this no matter what. And I'm sitting there and I'm breaking down while I'm trying to put it together, and I'm forcing myself. You gotta finish it. You gotta finish it. Because I was like telling myself, I'm going to finish this for her 1-year birthday. Like, this is my gift to my daughter and my wife. And I'm going to finish it. So I just sat myself down and until I finished it. Yeah, it's here. Even after going through losing my daughter, people reach out to me and who have gone through similar loss, and I don't even know what to tell them. I can't even find the words to tell them, and I can probably think of what I want someone to tell me, and I still wouldn't even. It's hard to put into words. Yeah, you don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's just, what can you say? What can you say? I always tell everybody, if anyone's going through any type of loss, just tell them you love them. Tell them you're here, tell them you love them, and actually really be there. My message of hope would probably be, don't give up. Hold on to the people closest around you. I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. Don't give up. That's kind of why I kept pushing music while I was in the hospital. You know, I kind of promised myself that I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't stop doing what I was doing. Actually, it actually lit the fire under me, and it made me want to push it even more. And it kind of seems weird. It seems weird to, you know, you just lost your daughter. You know, your wife is still recovering. Like, wouldn't you kind of like take a break? And I thought the opposite. I was like, because I lost my daughter and my wife is recovering, I can't take a break. There is no breaks. Suck it up. Keep moving, because she's counting on you. Everyone's counting. My daughter's counting on me to keep pressing. And I can't fail. Almost like as if she was still here. You can't fail. You got to keep moving. You're having a bad day. Suck it up. Push forward. You know, you really start looking into yourself and look deeper into self-reflection when you go through this type of adversity, when you don't feel like doing it. And you just got to suck it up and force it. Fake it even. Fake it if you need to. Because there's people counting on you, you know. And head down, keep pressing, keep working, keep pressing. Don't stop, don't give up. You know, be grateful for what you have around you. Live as if your child was still there. Live more because your child isn't there. It should remind you on how delicate life is. Just don't take it for granted. But do something with it. You know, do something with the people around you, what you still have. You know, I think in any relationship, you lose a child, that can tear apart relationships like crazy. But that's when you dig deep. That's when you keep pushing. I know a lot of good men and women who keep pushing, and I admire them for that. And that's the people that inspire and motivate me to keep pressing and keep pushing on. You know, if life was easy, you know, if anything was easy, everyone would do it. But that's what separates people. Where do you want to be? You know? There's still a lot of love in life. There's still a lot of beautiful things in life. You just got to keep going. Chase it. It's kind of what I want to do. Just keep chasing the love, chasing the dreams. Yeah. I really hope this song can touch people's lives, you know. It's the song that I wish I had from my wife, you know. I wish I had it in the beginning. It took me a whole year to finish it, you know. It's a song I felt she needed. It's a song I needed. I needed this song. It was the way it helped me heal. It helped me. It was a way to express it on how I was feeling without negatively or violently taking that out on people. You know, this is my positive way. It's like, this is how I'm feeling. This is how people are feeling. You know, love up on them. You know, so that's what helped me. When people was just loving up on me and just saying, "Bro, I love you," you know, "Brother, I love you," you know what I mean? Sis, whatever, you know. That goes such a long way. But this is that song. I just hope it can reach people, touch lives, and give them hope. You know, that, you know, some things we don't have the answers to. You know, shucks, you think I didn't question God? I questioned him a lot. You know, but it's not necessarily for us to know. You know, it's a tough subject, like to tell a mother or father. You know, that is why Mother's Day weekend was so appropriate, because I remember last year, Mother's Day weekend, I was dreading Mother's Day weekend. I didn't know what to do, you know. How do you tell a mother who is currently grieving, who just months out lost her child, how do you tell her Happy Mother's Day? You know, without it, it's gonna make her feel good, and it's gonna make her feel horrible at the same time. It's gonna make her sad. How do you tell her that? And as a father or as a spouse, like, how do you deal with that? What can you tell her? I said it in the song, how do I tell her? Because I was asking myself, I was like, I don't even know what to tell her. There is no words, I don't know how to tell her. How do you tell her? You know? And I think that's what I love about this song so much, is because I don't know the words. I still don't know the words. And putting it in a melee, putting it in this song, it's like it gave me the words somehow. Without, did I say it? Did I not say it? I don't know. I do believe people are going to understand it though. I think they're going to understand where I'm coming from with the song.